Have you ever been so scared to do something that you didn't even try because you thought you'd fail? You ever try to lose maybe a certain amount of weight or grow your business by maybe like a certain percentage, yet you failed to reach your goals? If you answered yes to these questions, then congratulations. You're like most people and have a really bad relationship with failure. I know I have. In today's video, we're going to talk about a topic that most of us avoid: failure. Specifically, we're going to define what failure is and how to use it to become successful in our life. Hi, I'm Dr. Jeff Anzalone from debtfreedr.com. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to this channel so you can be the first to get the latest content as soon as it goes out. Look, I understand that nobody wants to fail. For most people, the word failure brings up negative connotations. Think about it. The entire world looks down on people that fail, making them feel like what? They're no good. So it's for this reason that people will do all they can to avoid the risk of becoming a failure. But have you ever considered what failure actually is? The reality is that failure happens to everyone. And the only thing that separates people who succeed from those who don't is simply an understanding of the power of failure. If you want success, then the best way to learn is from your mistakes along the way. And if you give up at the first sign of failure, then guess what? You're never going to find success in life. For most people, failure isn't the problem. It's the fear of failure that is. So, what is failure? So, when you think of the word failure, what comes to your mind? Maybe not getting into medical or dental school, maybe the promotion or job interview you didn't get, missing that extra point to win the game, not living up to your parents' standards. So, really, the general definition of failure is nothing more than a lack of succeeding. This definition allows us to define personally what success means to us so we know whether or not we failed or not. But here's the problem: we're usually not too good at defining success. And because of this, we end up feeling like failures when in fact, we're actually the opposite. Living like this doesn't respect the effort that we actually put into our lives. So now it's time to make a change in how we think and redefine our lives. Speaking of failure, did you know that Walt Disney, his first company called Laugh-O-Gram, initially went bankrupt? MJ, or Michael Jordan, probably the best basketball player there ever was, he was actually cut from his high school basketball team. Thomas Edison, he actually failed 10,000 times before he invented the light bulb. And J.K. Rowling was rejected by not one, not two, but 12 publishers before publishing Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. But here's the deal with failure: whenever you fail, you can either give up, blame somebody else, or take responsibility and embrace the fact that you failed. And the sooner you start to embrace failure and use it as stepping stones, and then you'll start to see an opportunity for growth. The most successful people in life are those that are failing the most because it forces you to find your full potential. Speaking of success, let's define what that actually is. The definition of success means different things to different people, and it can't be defined by money or maybe trophies sitting on a shelf collecting dust. Along with failure, success are ideas and values that change that have a personal component to it. So you experience success based on whether or not you're meeting the standards that you've set for yourself. For instance, what you feel as success or failure may not be similar to me. Again, it's personal. I routinely tell my kids that they're winners when they know that they've gone out and they've done everything they can, they've given their best, and they've lived that moment to their fullest potential. And once you create personal goals, then you'll know what it means to be successful. So let's talk about why we need to fail. Now, if you're failing, then that means that you're actually trying and you've actually set goals to work towards. And when you fail, it only means that you just haven't reached your goals yet. That's it. To me, I think of failure similar to math problems. So failure equals learning, and then failure equals knowledge. And as we continue to make mistakes and fail, this guides us on how and what we need to change before we try again. Now, there's a friend of mine that I grew up with that actually tried for 7 years to get into medical school. And His dad owned a very successful shoe store at the time. And after a few tries of not getting into medical school, probably 2 or 3 years, everybody around him kept telling him the same thing. Hey, look, man, why don't you just quit trying, take over the shoe store from your dad, and you'll be successful. But you know what? He had his mind set up and he had a goal to reach for. And after a massive amount of persistence, it paid off. And today, he's a very successful orthopedic surgeon. If you don't ever set big goals and go after them because you have this fear of failure, then how will you ever know what you can accomplish? Grant Cardone, author of the 10X rule, teaches us to set targets that are, you guessed it, 10 times what you think you want, and then do 10 times what you think it will take to accomplish these goals. He says that massive thoughts must be followed by massive action. Fear is actually a sign that you're not doing what's needed to move you in the right direction. And if you're not experiencing fear, then you know what? You're not taking enough new actions and growing in life. So what I'd like to do now is give you the 5 tips that you can take to make it easier for you to use failure as a step to success. Tip number 1, experience is the best teacher. Now, Michael Jordan wasn't born a perfect basketball player. Roger Federer, he didn't start his tennis career knowing every single skill that it took for future success. Now, were they born with the ability to be great? Probably so. But you know what? No matter who you are, it always going to take practice. It's always going to take risk and many tries in order to perfect something. So failure should be thought of as a necessary lesson, a necessary step that must be experienced in order to increase your chance of success. Number 2, you are already successful. Now, because you stepped out of your comfort zone and you took a risk, you're already well on your way to being successful. Even though it may not have worked out on the first try or the second try, you did something to better yourself and grow. Number 3, nobody is perfect. Once you realize that you'll fail and make mistakes along the way, then this will allow you the freedom to continue to try new things. Number 4, learn from mistakes. Be aware of learning from your previous mistakes. Try not to make the same mistakes twice. I'm sure you've heard that before. Just because there's times that you'll fail, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't do anything to prevent those failures in the future. And last but not least, number 5, failure creates opportunity. Now, when a person fails, new ideas can be developed. Why? Well, it causes you to reflect on the past and where you want to go in the future. One of my first online businesses that I started, it really didn't work out the way I thought it would. And actually, I'm glad it didn't, because at that time I took a step back and realized that, you know what, that really wasn't my true passion at the time. And during this time period of reflection, I actually found new opportunities like real estate investing. And it's actually allowed me now to create something that can provide value to others, such as yourself, by sharing my personal experience of investing in real estate while I'm still working and treating patients. Remember, once you accept the fact that failures happen to everyone, then that fact alone can be, again, a powerful teacher. So be patient and continue to work hard, as failure is nothing more than a stepping stone to success. Speaking of success, what I want you to do is check out this next video right over here, where I'm going to discuss how you can build out your most successful wealth building strategy to increase your cash flow. I'll see you over in this next video.